Hello and welcome. Welcome to our Wellness Matters during COVID webinar, How to Create a Family Manifesto with Christine Crocker. My name is Nicole Ingrund and I'm the owner and director of Rivers Edge Counseling Center here in St. Albert. This is nearing the end of our Wellness Matters during COVID series. We do have talks all through the year, once or twice a month, and we will pick that up again in the fall. So you are welcome to join us for our last webinar on Thursday, or also to go to the website and see what we have coming up. Our presenter today, Christine Crocker, is a registered psychologist who is also trained in marriage and family therapy. We are so fortunate that we have had Christine Crocker in private practice with us at Rivers Edge for about 6 years now, and she has a really diverse practice at Rivers Edge. She sees adults who have all kinds of challenges in their lives, whether that's mood disorders, anxiety, depression. She works with people with grief and life transitions, or learning to live with ADHD. She also sees children and teens, and an area of specialty for her because of her training is working with families, and in particular, blended families. Also part of Christine's practice is parent coaching. And these days she sees people in person as well as by video with online counseling as well. Christine believes that relationships are central to the health and well-being of individuals, families, and communities, and that we all function and grow within systems, whether that is as a member of a couple, family, or group. And she enjoys working with people who are seeking to help to make their life better and who want to get relationships back on track so they can enjoy living their lives together. Well, I'm so happy to have you again, Christine. There's actually an earlier webinar that Christine offered to us about how to create schedules and also just let go of the need to create schedules. It was all kind of mixed together. So helpful as a mom myself. If you'd like to see that one, it's posted on the blog. But for today, I am going to just turn it over to you, Christine.
Well, welcome everyone. Thanks so much for sharing your time with me today. I recognize our time is so valuable, and I just want to honor the time that you're going to come spend with us. I hope it's valuable. Take what's useful and toss away the rest. You know, these are just ideas of mine that I'm sharing with you, and I hope you find something that's helpful. Because definitely during these unprecedented times in society, we are definitely looking for some guidance and some things that help keep our family on track. And I hope that's what we can do today. I'm just going to share my screen here and get our slideshow going. Here we go. Let's see, I think I need to go back a page. So welcome. We're talking about creating a family manifesto. And as part of that also is creating some family rules. So today I really want to talk about that family manifesto, the family values, the things that really are the heart of your home and how we want to kind of guide that. We've had these changes with COVID, and I think, you know, this is a perfect time to really start evaluating, as it is any time in flux or when changes happen in our family, what is our vision? What do we really want to be the heart of my home and those intentional practices in our family? And family rules are a really big part of this process. I think the manifesto is like the big part of the umbrella. It's the big arching part of it. But our family rules are the pieces underneath, the do's and don'ts, and kind of the meat and bones of our family manifesto. So I'm going to go through 5 steps to create that manifesto, identifying those family values, and how to identify our family rules. Little bit about me. I am a mom and been married for 15 years with 4 children, 2 biological kids and 2 stepkids. I've got a large network of friends and family that keep me healthy and happy. And I love the outdoors, love to be outside, and we have 2 dogs. Yeah, why did I just not stop at 1? Yeah, we got 2. So what is a manifesto? Manifesto is that declaration of policy and aims, really that platform, those visions, to really help focus on what is important. As I kind of stated before, this is, I think, a time for families to really reflect. I know I have in my family. As COVID has come along, it's been a real upset and really turned our worlds upside down, but also at different times of transition in families, that it's time to really reflect on what's important, what do I want to keep, what do I want to toss out, and how to kind of make that happen in our family. How to be selective out of our lives. I often look at our families like a business, and sometimes that my husband and I are the CEOs of our family. And so we're going to help try to set that vision, but we do know the more that we have our employees or our kiddos part of that creation of that family manifesto, the family rules, the bigger buy-in you get from your employees. Because this communicates to our family our shared values, our shared goals, and also has that input. We'll talk a little bit more about what age and stage your kids are and what that might look like. And family rules are different than that manifesto. Family rules will be different. Your family rules will be influenced by our beliefs and our values and the situation, and as your child matures and their needs evolve. Those are those family positive statements about how our family wants to look after and treat each other. Hands are not for hitting, words are not for hurting. You know, I kind of think about that when they were littler, you know, and then I think of those bigger rules for teenagers. You know, what is their online experience? Be kind, be kind, be kind, don't be mean, keep it clean. Like, I think as, you know, our families evolve from when they're little to they're bigger, there's still those family values, but then how do we treat people are some of these family rules. So the rules help our children and teenagers learn what behavior is okay and what isn't in our family. It helps me as the adult, as the CEO, to be consistent and in the way that I behave towards my children and teenagers. And when they always ask me, why is this rule around? We've talked about it. We've had some discussion as to the value of what's behind it, because that's always where the teenagers or the youth go to. Like, why do I have to follow this? Well, remember, our family value is that we're kind to ourselves and others, and that's why words are not for hurting. Good family rules are positive, meaning like hands are not for hitting, hands for helping. We want to have the positive. We want them to be as specific as possible and easy to understand. I like to make rules about things like physical behavior, safety, manners, routine, and respect. Helpful in all age and stage. Rules need to change as their children get older and our family situation changes. So how to create this family manifesto and these family rules. So I've got some 5 steps kind of outlined here. Brainstorm, discuss, bring it to life, display your manifesto of family rules, revisit and revise. So brainstorm. I like to start first with us as parents, as adults. Really give your time to reflect and research yourself first. I really like to percolate as a parent, what are those guiding principles? What are those family values that are really important to me? And I often, you know, reflect on what was important in my family of origin that I want to keep, maybe some that I want to toss. Are there cultural or religious beliefs that are really important to me that I really want to set the intention within my family? And what are the hopes with which our rules that will address this? So say if I have a big overarching rule of being kind, what are the rules specifically that's going to help address that? And then I think, what are some hot spots that need cooling? To be real, one thing I'm really passionate about is manifesto and rules because I use it in my own family very consistently. When I'm having a hot spot or a frustration moment, is it that witching hour in the morning? Is it the witching hour at bedtime? Now it happens to be the witching hour all day with homeschooling. But what are those hot spots that are really, you know, difficult, either for the kiddos or for me? And what's going on? And what are the values or the rules that we can come up with that can settle either the conflicts or the lack of routine or structure, whatever it might be, that's gonna, you know, help clarify and provide us, each other, as some guidance and some clarity around things. So how to brainstorm. I like to start first as parents, percolate, steep with, talk with, look up family values on the internet, Google it, research things and see what kind of comes up to mind for you. Then after I've kind of got, maybe, a skeleton structure for myself as a parent, I want to hold a family meeting to have everybody involved. I want to ask these key questions to everybody. What's important in our family? What does our family believe in? What are some of our favorite family activities? How do we want to treat each other? How do we celebrate our family? And culturally, what's important in our family? So I'd like to have it, I often use like a big piece of whiteboard paper, or you can use, or poster paper, or a whiteboard. And this is the time to brainstorm and scribble. And really remember, brainstorming is exactly that. Ideas, no ideas are wrong. This is where we just puke it all out and really talk back and forth before we really worry about refining anything. Then when you have your family meeting to create your family manifesto, the benefit of this family meeting is increasing that buy-in for the kiddos when they do contribute. But remember, you've already steeped with this ahead of time, meaning that I kind of already am guiding the conversation or might have some key points that are really important to me. During this family meeting, we're discussing and understanding these shared goals. It can be a really fun bonding activity. When do kids also feel empowered in their family to be able to have a voice and have some input in their family? And when you involve the kids and teenagers in making the rules, it helps them understand and accept the rules and why your family needs them. This means that they're more likely to see the rules as fair and stick to them. So I have a bit of a metaphor that speaks to me and I use quite often in my practice. I didn't develop it, but I still use it. That elementary school students or little kids are kind of like puppies in the fact of they're excited when they see you when they come home, they're loyal, they want to be with you, they like you, and they want to be with you. So those littler kids are kind of like puppies in the fact that they're more eager to please and involved. But when kids evolve and they turn into teenagers, the theory, which isn't always entirely true, but is a broad generalization, turn into cats. And cats, well, when you come in the door, look at you and go, did you bring anything for me? And they want attention when they only want attention. You can be petting a cat, giving it lots of affection. All of a sudden it gets mad at you and ruddles off. Very similar to a teenager. So for the puppies or the elementary school students, that structure is a critical part of developing that sense of security and mastery, right? Providing that structure for the puppy or our little kiddos is really key. But for our older children, the cats, that shared communication and those shared goals really helps that buy-in for that family structure. Then we get to discuss. So share those ideas after that brainstorming, come up that list of ideas, and then kind of evaluate which ones do we like, which ones don't we like, see if we can narrow it down to 10 or 20 as a family. Sometimes I'll even suggest keep those all posted up and have everyone over a couple of weeks tally and put on the ones of 1, 2, 3, or give one kid the yellow sticker, one kid the blue sticker, mom and dad get these other colors, and everyone puts a sticker on the ones that they feel are most important. Or they even might add more as we kind of steep and percolate this with our family. So then we start to narrow down and create a more succinct manifesto and family rules list because they serve different purposes. So, phrase or ideas. So, as I said, the family manifesto is that bigger part of the value statement. So, kind of like they're more like the value statement for our business or as our company. And so, these are some ideas that I'll kind of go through that have come up with families that they found that have been really important. And I know that I have a bias. Relationship, 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 because when we are in connection with the other, we feel soothed and happy. So that's why I often really encourage relational values. And so those that say I love and support and respect each other, we encourage and help each other. You know, if you're a hugging family or not, be kind to yourself and others. For the little kids, hands are for hugging, high fives are not for hitting. For all, we use kind words because words are not for hurting. This is a bit of a sticky point that I think I struggle within some families, often in blended families. We will always love each other, but we may not always like one another, or we could always put, we'll always respect each other, but we may not always like each other. So you kind of have to work for the wording and the value statement that works best for your family. Fair does not always mean the same. You get what you need. Oh, fair is such a hard thing in families, right? And really coaching that empathetic response within our families is important. It's not an innate trait, it's a learned skill and ability to be able to understand the empathy and giving to others. You get what you get and you don't get upset. I had another kiddo, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. That's how their family kind of worded it. Make time for each other. One that comes from a lot of the relationship work I do, Sue Johnson uses this. Do I want to be right? We're in a relationship, or do I want both? How do we do that in our family? Say please and use quiet or inside voices. So again, those are kind of some key ones that have come up in the work that I've done with families, and I'm always with that relational focus is where I like to start. Of course, it's not going to take me to the next slide. Oh, it did. Then we went too far. There's the relational ones. Phrase ideas. So the other one is that growth mindset. So growth mindset, for example, is you've got one kid over there and they're like, I suck at math. That's a fixed mindset, or that rigid mindset. Whereas in families, I hope we can kind of develop that growth mindset. I'm getting better at math. I'm learning to be a good friend. I'm learning to be kind to others. So again, that kind of growth mindset that gives the opportunity for expansion versus that fixed mindset of can't, won't, will not, unable. So we love to learn. We like to ask questions, make mistakes. Mistakes are evidence that you're trying. We ask for help in our family. We like to be brave and honest, to do our best. Practice makes improvement. And I think in this growth mindset area, what I always kind of think about, say you have a child that's coping with anxiety. So that's where I would kind of put in the, we're getting up being brave, or being honest, right? Like being honest about our feelings. We're learning to control our emotions, right? So whatever kind of growth mindset that you're hoping to embed into your family, whether that's a rule or part of the manifesto, is something to kind of think about, right? Or I can be the boss of my brain, right? I am in control of my body and my thoughts and feelings. Kind of those kind of growth things that we're hoping to embed into our family. Try, get creative. We try new things. Some of the things that we can also kind of use as other phrase ideas is we believe in, right? So is that from your culture or your family of origin, or something new that you'd like to enact for your family? That we're finding good in every day, that gratitude habit, or that mindfulness of what's going well in our family. Our family works hard, we're humble, maybe we have an environmental focus for our family. We need to laugh more, worry less, we learn by doing. At this family, we like to think outside the box. Be your best you, you're the only one you got. Live life with passion and bend the rules. My favorite, I've got a family and they're just a bit more of a rock and roll family. And they're like, yeah, bend the rules, live outside the lines, don't color in them. That's a really big focus that's really important for them living their life and leading their family in that direction. Remember, we're the heart of our home and we can help be the leaders and set the intention. And then I think of those in motivational ones, right? That we dream, we inspire, we create our own happiness, be the best me you can be, find you in the process, be proud of you, do more of what makes you happy, love with all of your heart, make things that make you proud. So again, what are those statements that really speak to you, that keep your mojo going, right? I kind of have a teenager in my brain and they're like, shit happens, but I always make it through. Like that is a great teenager statement, right? Shit happens, I'm gonna make it. That's a motivational or a coping or a growth mindset that I would encourage that teenager to, put into our family rules or manifesto. Family media rules. So I'm going to get on my pulpit a bit here. This is something that is just so important that I always like to bring to the forefront of how to be safe as our worlds become so multimedia. That people are more important than technology. I'm just so curious about how our brains are evolving with all of this lovely technology, but I also don't want to forget this, right? Like, we are a connection. We are meant to connect with people through technology, of course, but that how do I use technology as a adjunct to my world, but not a replacement for my world. I'm going to be the boss in the use of technology and have it not be the boss of me. I always worry when I see that, you know, youth or teenager and their phone dings and they're just constantly in this hyper alert and accessing their technology. Of course, it's connecting, but it's also who's the boss? Is it the technology or the person using it? So we connect in the world with technology. I will visit media or sites that my parents would be proud of. I will give other people credit when I use their ideas or copy parts of their documents on the internet from homework. Social media, this has come from a lot of the social media work that I support. Don't be mean, keep it clean, don't lie, don't pry, don't cheat, can't delete, don't steal, don't reveal. And I really think our human spirit must prevail over technology. I want our families to really have a heart of the home and not technology to be the only part of our being. Good luck. It's remember a vision and we're the heart of the home. We're going to do our best to kind of build this building block. And then here's some prompts for you to build your own manifesto. We can, together we, in difficult times, we find joy in nature, we find joy in each other, we follow our heart. It could be maybe in a secular or a non-secular way. We practice, we do, we start each day, we work hard and we be our own, we do more or remember. So again, here's some other building blocks to kind of help build some things that are important to you. So that next step, how do we bring this all to life? So we've brainstormed our ideas, we've steeped with them over a week or two and maybe added more and filtered them down. And then what do we do? How to become creative and artsy? So I think more for the family manifesto that we want to keep. Do we make a poster? Do we cross stitch it? Do we print it from a computer? Do you even hire a designer? Etsy, you can actually put in some of your own words and it'll pop out, you know, like when it goes happy, sad, like, and it puts all the different words on the page. You can commission someone to have your manifesto come to life, or we can do a large poster board, have your kids draw and color on it, because that kinesthetic learning is also part of this process. It really helps to write down our rules and display them somewhere everywhere can see them. It helps make them clear. It can also prevent arguments on what is and isn't allowed. For the younger kids, you can make her draw pictures about those family rules. So again, this is something that I use in my own life quite frequently. Again, those hot spots that happen in our family. And so I use poster paper, and I'm not that artsy, but I write it all out. I might use different colors or get a kid to put some different pictures on it. And we keep those family rules posted up, and we change and evolve them as we need to. So I keep the family rules around those different hotspots up in a prominent area in the house. And then the family manifesto, I can show you, I think I did put it on a slide, and I'll come up to that. So display your manifesto and your rules. Again, put it somewhere prominent. The manifesto is that reminder of your unity, your uniqueness, your shared values, beliefs, and or activities. And I like to surround that manifesto with a picture of the family. For me, it's always a bit tricky to try to get everybody in, but so a picture of the family is one I really like. Even better if the picture represents maybe the values or the activities in the manifesto. So these are some that I took off of, I think the one on the left, I was able, like the Etsy would create this for you. You know, like you can put in some wordage and it'll help print it. And then of course on the right here, another family did some cross stitch. That's not in my skill set. This is me. I went to the computer and pulled out a picture of my kiddos, and we created an acrostic poem. So of course we used our letters of Crocker and then created our manifesto, or those values that the Crockers are creative. We like to improve every day. We do what we love. We can. We're kind to ourselves and others. We like to be together, and laughter is key. And then of course, you know, this is the one time on the family vacation when you want to spend 20 bucks on the photo. I'm like, yes, of course. It's the one time mom's actually in the picture instead of behind the camera. So that's my example. So I've just put it in an 8 by 10 frame and put it up on the wall. And then on the right, here's another example. It's from Big Life Journal. It's a lovely website that I access quite often. Lots of free resources as well as fee for service. But you know, they've really put the broader scope things into a format that you can find on their website, actually. And then family rules. There are so many to search for on the internet. I've given you some examples, but there's so many others that I can Google from the internet. And so this family took it and, you know, put it into a document, and then it's kind of sorts it together, or those golden rules. You know, if you don't have anything nice, don't say it at all. That one was in my family of origin. Choose kind words always, that kind of thing. And someone's just put it in a list. To be honest, I'm not this high tech. I take out the poster paper and I write it out and keep it posted up, or have one of the kids do that. Another example is if you have littler kids, because of course you need to identify those rules or things that are age specific. So I kind of think on the right hand side here is the tidy up, wash clothes, plan groceries, do errands. There's pictures there. Sometimes I'll do that with like a Word document and insert, you know, brush teeth, wash hands, any of those kind of, you know, schedule-y things, or bigger stuff in a pictorial diagram depending on the age of your kids. And then here someone's used different colors specifically around safety rules. So like I said, I'll do that around those hot spots, whether that's an AM structure or an after school structure, or whatever those hot spots are that you need to create these family rules around. And then, like I said, rules are going to evolve as your kiddos grow. So here again is another pictorial rules. And then I think here's some basic house rules. And this is for, you know, those teenagery age, right? And I've taken this from a website called Because I Love You, which is a parent support group that I think deals with probably more at-risk teens. But so it definitely has probably a more teenage focused, right? What my curfew is, what my daily expectations are, no television between, no drugs or alcohol. So this is definitely a far more teenage viewpoint specifically that I think I would get parents to speak with first, and then have that discussion together with your teenager in that family meeting. And then as time passes, especially as you create the manifesto if the kiddos are young, the manifesto and family rules will need updating. So we occasionally revisit the manifesto and the family rules. Is this an annual tradition that we do before school starts? That's often the time of, it kind of gets me percolating. Okay, we got to get back into the structure of fall. What does that look like? Whether we're planning out our schedule, as well as what's really important for our family as we move forward. How many nights do we want to be out of the house? You know, what activities do we want to spend our time in? What time can we really spend together for Taco Tuesday and playing a game, right? Like, so again, how do we make this an annual tradition to really set those intentions both as a manifesto and rules in our family to keep our family on track? Like I said, I always use these to address and make clear expectations of behavior and family values when it bubbles up as well. So thank you. I've kind of really pounded through that in a whole 30 minutes. Thank you for spending time with me today about a family manifesto, and we can have time for questions.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Christine. If you have questions, comments, put them in the chat or in the Q&A box, and we definitely have some time that we can chat. I found that so helpful. You know, when pandemic first started and they said the kids were at home, I had this idea to do something like this with the family, and I got a bit overwhelmed looking online and trying to figure it out, but I was really determined. But then online learning started, and I realized I wouldn't really have all this extra time. I didn't need to find more projects with the kids. But now that it's winding down this week and we've got a summer ahead with a lot less activities than normal, I'm really looking forward to doing some of this as a family. That's wonderful. We have one comment here. I thought this was so interesting. This is amazing. I'm in the beginning stages of starting my own business, and I'm going to use these principles to create a manifesto with my business partner, who is like family. And she's asking if the PowerPoint can be emailed out, and we will add that in the blog post along with the video, if that's okay, Christine. The
Oh,
PowerPoint.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Some of
it'll
it's
be on.
from
Yeah.
my practice and, ideas that I've come up with, but let's get real. I did what you, I do that. I'll ask families to Google and really look at, thing is, it's overwhelming. You'll get so many, how to filter it down is often a challenge.
Oh yeah. It'll be on Christine's bio page as well too, if you're looking for that. Let me see, what else do we have here? How do you engage the family in this without them thinking you are silly? Well, this person must have been in my house when I first mentioned this to my kids, and they thought they were off the hook and not just that I was waiting till later. Yeah, I guess, how do you get that buy-in from the rest of the family?
Great question. And I think I do this for a living, and I just blame it on, well, your mom's a psychologist. And I know you might not have that business card, but really it's around families work together, families have, ideas, and we want to really bring forward what's the heart of our home, right? I think I also sell it as this is a business feature. So if they have it, depends if they're little. If they're little, I am going to probably be a bit more goofy and silly or engaging, right? But if they're teenagers, my selling point is this is a business. Our family is a business in some way, and this is our agenda, and this is our meeting, which is what you're going to experience when you go out in the work world. So how do I, as the CEO, chair this meeting? And then how do you, as the employee, give some input so that we can all have a business that works and functions well together? And so this is a skill, young teenager, that I hope you can buy into so that we can have a well-oiled functioning family / business, right? And so fair enough, I have my own teenagers and they're like, yeah, I gotta clean up the dishwasher. So terrible. But I don't worry if they are all mouthy, but they still do the task. That's a win, right? Fair enough, mouthy, beep this and beep that words are not for hurting. But on the most part, if there's a grumble and the cat is meowing, but the cat is doing the task, I don't know if I get that worried about it. So fair enough, they're not going to be sitting down going, woohoo, this is a day at the park. But bring snacks, run the agenda, keep it also time focused. If we're at a meeting at work and it runs too long, no one likes that. Be brief, be bright, be gone, right? Keep it, your agenda tight, and keep it focused, because it's when we get too wordy that we lose the audience, right?
Yeah, I love that. Be brief, be bright,
be gone.
Yeah, I wish every manager had that as a motto going into meetings. I would also suggest offering ice cream after the activity. That would have been my suggestion along the brides, not as good a suggestion as yours. Someone's saying, thank you, that was great. I love the idea of a manifesto first, establish values as a family, then the rules.
Absolutely, because I'll be honest, that's where the teenagers is why do I have to be home at midnight? Well, because we value being healthy. We value being connected. And when you're out till 2 a.m, we don't see you till noon the next day and we miss you, right? So that's that relational connection. And I know they're going to go well, I just want to be with my friends, but that still is a rule, and I'm the president, and let's see what we can do to negotiate that. But it's also based on that rule. When I'm just I need to make a rule to make a rule, then I know that's my stuff, right? I'm you can't wear that pink shirt. I'm why is it that pink shirt is upset? Then that's my stuff, right? When I'm either not well or not my best mom, I'm doing my best, right? So that's where it always kind of links back to those family values.
Yeah. Well, and you've hit on what my motivation was at that time, is I had a sense of the way my kids were responding to rules and directions with the questioning all the time, that we were missing just that common language as a family to sort of keep tying them back into something that would make sense to them. So I need to do better with that.
Right. Mom, why do I have to put this in the recycle? Because we care about the environment and we want to have less environmental footprint, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I can always lead it back to what's our family values.
Mm-hmm. Well, and as you're saying that too, it makes me realize it takes the personalizing out of it for me in terms of my own response, that they aren't missing that piece just to get under my skin today, just to make my life harder. When I start having to think about what that's really about, it takes that that emotional reaction out of it for me too.
Right.
Thanks
And
for the
often
great family counseling, Christine.
an emotional reaction for the kiddo, because they're like, you're just doing this to be mean to me, right?
Yeah.
You know, and no, I do this also. Another, I could have included it and I didn't, but good parent messages. And one of them that's really important is I say no because I love you. I say no, I want you home at midnight because I care for you and I want you to be healthy. So that's why we also have rules, because we know we need to sleep, eat, exercise, treat other people well. And that's why I'm here to make sure we're healthy and okay. And that's me as the CEO taking that I'm the heart of our home. I say no because I love you. And trust me, my teenager looks at me and goes, I know you do, that sucks.
Yeah.
But I'll take that any day, right?
Yeah. My kid's favorite phrase lately is, and they say it with that angry look at you, you care too much. You care too much. And I want to take seriously their frustration, but I'm also like, well, we'll take it.
Exactly.
Yeah. At least you don't think it's because I don't care. Any other questions here? Looks like we'll keep an eye on it for another few seconds here, but it looks like we are out of questions and comments. I'll let you know, as always, that if you have further questions, you can email them to me, Nicole@riversedgecounseling.com, and I will certainly forward them to Christine, and I'm sure she'd be happy to answer them as well. And if you have any other ideas for webinars that, oh, someone's saying, where were you, Christine, when my kiddos were young? So good.
I'm with you. Like, we are good enough parents. Like, you know, it's so hard. This parenting job is a challenge, and it's an ever evolving, right? You know, working with our puppies or those school age kids is so different than working with cats, right? Or teenagers. And be gentle with yourselves as a parent. I think that's the biggest. If I have one message to give to any parent, you're doing your best. Good for you. Keep at it. Don't give up, right?
Like, be self-critical.
We're so self-critical to ourselves as parents, and yeah, but that village, that family village, I'm with you. That family village and that connection and talking about how to do this is so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So if you do have any other ideas for webinars that we can host, I would love to hear it, or other ways we can support you. And otherwise, I am going to say goodbye. Thank you all for joining us and your time today and participating in our little conversation here, and wish you well. Take care.
Good luck.
Thanks, Christine. Bye-bye.